Hey, this is Wes Fryer. Today is Sunday, the 24th of August, 2025, and I want to talk about smart home setup, a DIY smart home setup with Home Assistant. So I want to give a shout out to Jason Neiffer, who is my partner in crime in the EdTech Situation Room podcast that we do usually once a week. We were off for a lot this summer. You can find that at edtechsr.com. Here's what I want to talk about. Setting up a resilient, private, and reliable smart home system. Our family has been, for the last few years, and we still are heavily invested in the Google IoT or Internet of Things ecosystem. I love Apple devices. We've got, some Apple TVs, we got iPhones, but it is just so expensive. I do think that Apple has a stronger commitment to privacy than Google does. What I'm interested in doing is setting up a smart home, basically, that is not going to rely on internet connectivity. So if internet goes down, my smart home can still work. It also is private, and it's not just, dependent upon either Google or the Amazon world, Alexa. I've been a Google fan for a long time, and I still like Google. But anyway, it's what I want to do. I want to create one that's private, one that doesn't rely on internet connectivity, like where my smart home, if we do, we don't get, many storms and power outages. But if we do, I'd like for, if the internet goes down, I'm resilient. And if the power goes out, I can even be resilient. That's my long-term goal. And I've got a little ways to go. But here is the steps. And you can learn more about this on my Communitarian Prepper channel. I'm going to be posting this video there. I have a website, comprep, comprp.wesfryer.com. I'll try to put that link in here. This is what I am using, and it is a DIY, what's called Home Assistant. So instead of, utilizing Google Home or whatever Alexa's platform is, there's a company that has created this, and you don't have to subscribe, although I think I might end up exploring their subscriptions because you can have some interconnectivity, between the old system that you have, which for me is the Google ecosystem, and then I can, this is going to be a migration because I think I have over 30 different devices, connected to our home network, and they're mostly lights and plugs and things like that. But what I like to basically just do here, because I'm starting with this, is I bought what's called the Home Assistant Green, and this is a Raspberry Pi, but it comes fully, configured out of the box. So you can plug it in and it works. And in addition to this, which I'll show you this here in a minute, I've also bought some Zigbee smart light bulbs, and I'm going to show you the configuration. I just plugged in the first one, and it was awesome, and it just, fired right up. And so this is called THIRDREALITY. These are A19 smart color bulbs, and they're 800 lumen. If you're not using artificial intelligence, AI, like ChatGPT, to help you troubleshoot technical issues, technical problems, and then also, figure out a roadmap. How can I do this? How can I convert my Google Nest, Google Assistant focused smart home, and then, make it resilient and privacy respecting and all of that. So I'll write a blog post about this probably as well. But, using ChatGPT to help me with this and figure out what to order was really key. So there are different protocols and compatibilities that different smart devices have. I have been using the works with Google, that's what I've been looking for in all my stuff. But there are some lower power devices, and the one that I'm using is called Zigbee, and there's also Matter and Z-Wave. It's kind of confusing. This is definitely kind of a geeky thing, but boy, can AI really ever help explain these different things. It's just, man, being able to use AI to help with technical things really can be amazing. It doesn't mean it gets everything right, but I've had really, really good success at this point. And again, I'm recording this, at the end of August 2025, and ostensibly, these AI platforms are just going to get better and better. So Zigbee is what I am going with. It is low power, but I had to get an adapter in order for Zigbee devices to be recognized. So, hey Google, turn on living room light 1 and 2. Okay, so Google's just turned on my smart bulbs here. Eventually, I want all this stuff to run, with off of my new system. Here's what I have. I'll try to show this. Maybe can I flip around? I don't think I can flip around without. So everything was running off of a Google Nest. It has been for quite a while. I've got fiber, and I don't want to I don't know if that QR code is like my special QR code. Maybe I might have to do something with that. Here is the new Raspberry Pi, okay? And so I just had to plug this into my network that my Google Nest has. It's in the same, what's called SSID, and then this USB device that is plugged in the back is the Zigbee adapter. Now, the documentation, and it's a radio, so it's creating a Zigbee network. The documentation that I read said you actually want to use like a USB extender maybe and not have it right next to your Wi-Fi. So I need to explore that, because you can have collisions between your different network devices, and you need to be aware of that, and also like other wireless network bands that your neighbors are using and things like that. Okay, but let's go ahead and connect this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. I've plugged this light bulb in. This is this new light bulb that I have. I'm going to turn it on so it can go into pairing mode. And I don't know if this is going to... Usually, when I just turned it on, it went into pairing mode. Usually it'll flash when it's under pairing mode, and maybe I'm gonna have to actually read the directions, because the one that I did before, it just immediately worked. Okay, I'm gonna have to read some directions. I'll be back in a second. Okay, great. I've entered the pairing mode. It flashes around. The instructions said if it's not paired within 3 minutes, it exits the pairing mode. Okay, so let me go to the app and show you my configuration, what I'm having to do for this thing to join. Okay, wow. It seems like it's just got a automatic detection and automatic connection. So I set the name for the device there, Front Porch 2, and oh my gosh, it works. It works. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay, let me stop my recording. Okay, so this is not the best how-to in the world. What apparently happened was, after I connect, you have to have the USB dongle to create the Zigbee. It's like a Zigbee wireless network that's going to allow Zigbee devices to connect. Once I had that, I connected my first bulb, and then after that, I simply plugged that bulb in, and it just automatically joined. So now that I've done that here on a separate little light bulb, I'm going to go ahead and put that where I want it on my porch, and then I'm going to create an automation so that it's going to come on at sunset and go off at sunrise. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Okay, I'm going to put it up there in the I'm going to plug it in outside in the porch light, and then I'll show you the automation that I'm going to try to set up. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm now up on my ladder by my front lights, and I'm about to replace these bulbs. A couple things that I've learned. I'm not going to put any more hardwired devices like light switches in my home, because I did that when we were in Oklahoma, and it had Chinese firmware I couldn't read, and the devices were getting information from the internet based on the log from my router, phoning home. It was just weird. And what I also learned is it's just so much easier to just have a light bulb or a switch that you plug into an outlet instead of like wiring the outlet or wiring the actual light switch. So these are plain bulbs. Something else that can be a pain sometimes is like 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz and distance and whatever, because some of the older smart bulbs that I've had only work on a 2.4 network, and like with my Google Nest, I don't have separate networks. I've also experimented a little bit and just had like separating my networks. I was a school tech director for 5 years. And so I learned about VLANs and separate, SSIDs for networks and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's just, it hasn't been really beneficial for me. So I'm back to like, let's just have everything on the same network. But it is that problem about 2.4 and 5. And I've had to like actually take the smart bulbs and at one point I got another router that was 2.4 and I named it with the same, SSID. I think I have a video out there about this because it wouldn't configure on my 5 gigahertz network. Those are distance limited, and so you can go past the point at which the 5 gigahertz network connects, and then you'll be in the range of the 2.4, but oh my gosh, it's just such a mess. I didn't have this at all with this Zigbee stuff. So I connected the Zigbee, boom, it connected because it was making that connection from that Zigbee wireless. And then these particular bulbs, which again are the THIRDREALITY Smart Color Bulb ZL1, the A19 bulbs, standard size, for outlets. These bulbs will also extend my Zigbee network so that if I end up wanting to do more things outside, it's not just going to be relying upon that one dongle that's creating that wireless network. So it's going to it's basically making a mesh network. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is turn this on. All right, sweet. So I turn this on and I can manually turn this on and off now. And I've got to put my cover back on here, and I don't need to be up on a ladder to do this configuration. So I'm going to put my cover back on, and then I'll record the little screencast showing how I'm going to set up the automation. I'm going to make a group so both of these bulbs, which I've named Front Porch 1 and Front Porch 2, can both work in unison to turn on and off. Yay, it works. I'm so excited. I've had some much more difficult times getting this going than I am with this setup. So I'm pretty excited about that. Fire up our home assistant here again, and we'll go to our devices and services. And so here we've got our 3 Zigbee devices that are connected, Front Porch 1 and 2. And I guess what I want to do now is what is an entity? I guess what I want to do is I want to create an automation. So here's an automation. So I'm going to create an automation, and this is going to be a new automation, and it's going to work with a trigger. So the trigger is going to be time and location, and it's going to be the sun. There we go. So when the sun sets, let's turn it on first. I'm going to add that as a trigger. And so, did that just add it? Okay, let's see if it did. Okay, when the sun sets. Okay, here we go. So when the sun sets, what am I going to do? I'm going to add an action. So I'm going to do something to a device, and I'm going to select a device, and I'm going to do both of these. So I'm going to do Front Porch 1, and I'm going to action turn on Front Porch 1. Okay. Now this is kind of cool. I can set the brightness. So I'll make sure it's 100. I'm going to always want it to be 100. This is interesting that you can flash it. All right. So that's fine. So we're going to save that. And then, that's interesting. I'm just going to call this, I'm going to just call it sunrise automation, because I might end up later adding other items, and I think I can add them to that automation. So here is the sunrise automation, and I need to add another action. So it's going to turn on front porch 1. I'm going to also say that I want to add another device. So it's going to be front porch 2, and I want it to actually turn on front porch 2. Again, I'm going to say turn it on at 100% brightness. I think I could also do color, but that's fine. All right, so we'll save that, and I think that's it. So when the sun sets, that's the trigger. Don't have an additional factor or list of conditions. It's just going to turn both of those things on, and yeah, I think that's it. So there you go. And then I wonder if I can go ahead and run it. Yeah, I can. So let me go see if I've got those lights on. I think I have them off. Wish I could show this at the same time. Let me go out here and look. Oh, they're off right now. Okay, well, I'll have to create the off automation and then give it a shot, and then I'll do maybe when I'm actually. Anyway, I'm gonna let me add that other automation. All right, I went ahead and installed this on my iPad so that I could see the light on my phone camera at the same time. So here, let's just tap the outside on. Ooh, look at that. I'm tapping this on my iPad and the Home Assistant and turn it off. So I've created 2 automations. I've created the automation that will turn it on at sunset, and then at sunrise, it will turn it off. I'm so excited. I'll write this up in a blog post. I'll link that in the description of this video. I'll also include a link to this on my Communitarian Prepper website, which again is comprep.westfire.com. And I'm excited. This is a very good milestone. It's going to take a while to make this transition from, the entire Google ecosystem. But I think that there's a good migration path for me, and I'm going to be able to do this. And I'm excited. So more things to come. If you're interested in pursuing the goal of a privacy supporting and resilient home network, IoT network, then this smart home assistant is definitely worth checking out. Hope this is helpful to you. Please let me know feedback, comments. Love to know what you're doing. Products that you're trying. If you're using, Zigbee, you're using Home Assistant. It's pretty narrow band, small, geeky thing, but it's definitely worth doing, I think. Take care. Have a good day.